Now, Donald Trump did have another huge win late last week with one of the lawfare cases against him collapsing. Josh, this was, again, another absurd case from the start. It was a political hit job carried out by Letitia James and a partisan New York judge. It was a judge-only trial, no jury. And Josh, New York appeals court last week dismissed the $500 million civil fraud penalty. Tell me about this, because this really threatened Donald Trump's empire. It could have bankrupted him. It would have impacted his children. It was, again, on its face absurd, but he was facing this $500 million payout.
So, Rita, it's very easy to forget about all the various tentacles of the Democrat lawfare complex. So, Jack Smith, the federal special counsel, had these two cases, one in Washington, D.C. for January 6th, one in Florida. That's the Mar-a-Lago classified documents. Then you had Fonnie Willis in Fulton County, Georgia. She was the local Georgia prosecutor doing a similar kind of January 6-ish related prosecution there. Then you had Alvin Bragg in New York City, who we were just talking about with Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, this stupid hush money payment thing. And then you had Tish James, the Attorney General of New York State, who filed technically a civil lawsuit, but kind of very much looks and feels like an act of prosecution there. And her basic theory of the case, if you could even call it a case, was that the Trump organization, through Donald Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., and the other executives and officers of the organization there, that they essentially kind of fibbed the numbers a little bit on their applications for bank loans in order to secure interest rates at a more favorable rate. First of all, I have news for Tish James. Literally every person I've ever spoken to who's done this has done something similar. There's apparently a pervasive practice to the point of ubiquity, and frankly, financial institutions expect it. But the more important point is this, Rita, which is that the Trump organization, whatever they were calling certain assets, whether they were subjectively appraised, one, we're talking here about investment banks like Deutsche Bank, bulge bracket investment banks. Do your own appraisal work, first of all. Second of all, more to the point, the most important point of all, they were happy to do business with the Trump organization. In fact, Deutsche Bank, the #1 financial institution intermediary that was at issue in this case there, Rita, they literally wanted to do more business with the Trump organization. There was no victim here. There was literally no victim. But that didn't stop Justice Arthur and Goron from slapping a $500 million approximately penalty there. So just completely Orwellian stuff. But by the way, this case, as a New York native, this case was not just about the Trump organization. If this penalty had stuck, Rita, that would have sent the most chilling signal imaginable to real estate, to investors, to venture capitalists. Why would you go start a business in New York State if the Attorney General can say that you are cooking the books a little bit, even though they want to give you a loan anyway, and then all of a sudden you're out $500 million? But unfortunately, with the seeming election coming very soon of Zohran Mamdani, I think New Yorkers are probably going to get it one way or the other, unfortunately.
And the value that they ascribed to Mar-a-Lago, again, absurd. I mean, from over here in Australia, I could look at similar properties that have got that sort of price, and you would not get at 1/100th of Mar-a-Lago for that price, let alone the whole thing. I mean, it was crazy. Now, we've got another company being accused of going woke, Josh, perhaps going broke. Well, if not broke, they've seen their share price plummet fairly dramatically. This is Cracker Barrel, and their share price dived over a rebrand. Tell me why this has so many people upset, and the manner in which woke is now becoming a risk factor.
So, Rita, Cracker Barrel is an iconic Southern restaurant chain here in the United States. I know this well because I live in Texas, as I said. I also went to university in North Carolina. In North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina. This is like Cracker Barrel USA. So I know a thing or two about Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is an iconic Southern restaurant there with an iconic logo that is frequented by predominantly Southern people who go for the food and also the decor. You walk into a Cracker Barrel, it's filled with all sorts of Americana and kind of hunting memorabilia and things like that. So in comes this new woke CEO, and she really is woke. I literally looked at this woman's face, and my very first reaction is, why is she not co-hosting an MSNBC show with Rachel Maddow? This woman fundamentally belongs either on MSNBC or in the Harvard Kennedy School faculty lounge. She has no business whatsoever running a business that predominantly caters to Southern Americans there. And the giveaway, Rita, is that the CEO, when she unveiled this policy to get rid of the old iconic logo and bring in this kind of neutered, watered down crap, whatever this is. She did that announcement not in Nashville, Tennessee, not in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, in New York City. Do you know how many Cracker Barrel restaurants are in New York City? Zero. There is literally not
How
a
many?
single Cracker
Zero.
Barrel restaurant in New York City there. So that gives away the whole game there. She's trying to appease just the wokerati and not her actual own customers. Unfortunately, just like Bud Light, Target, all these other companies there, she's going to learn that the customer is always right. The customers are going to make her pay for this, I think.
Josh Hammer, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita.